So, I am a longtime fan of Ace Combat. Have been a fan ever since my best friend in high school let me borrow his PlayStation 2, and I played the Holy Trinity. And those games were just utterly incredible. Everything about them, the soundtracks, the atmosphere, the gameplay. It was just an incredible experience. It's what any kid, any Top Gun enjoyer would love. And now, oh yes, we are finally getting Ace Combat 8. In fact, Ace Combat 7 was exciting because it had been over 10 years since we had gotten Ace Combat 6. But then I see Bandai has a trailer that montages its past games. And I just looked at this and I was disgusted. I was totally disgusted. Really? You're going to show us, put your old games on display, which are widely beloved by fans, and not give them to us? Why have we not gotten Ace Combat 1 through 6 on multi-platform? Why have we only gotten one game, Ace Combat 7, multi-platform? There is no good reason for this. Bandai Namco has never given a clear explanation anywhere about this. Fans have speculated, well, it's due to licensing agreements with Lockheed-Martin and defense contractors. I'm sorry, I don't buy this. This is not an explanation that makes sense. You don't need permission from an American defense company to put an airplane in your video game. That's bogus. These aren't realistic games. It's not DCS. These aren't games with real physics, with accurate use of technology in a real world setting. There's nothing real about these games other than that they look cool and they sound cool. That's about it. It's like playing Independence Day, the movie, but against other humans and better. So I actually think that Bandai Namco's silence is pretty conspicuous. You'd think they would have given an explanation after all these years, but they don't. I liked Ace Combat 7. I'm an Ace Combat 7 enjoyer. But when you actually play the game, what did they do? They made your allies mostly for show again. For the most part, your allies are there for show. They're not there to be actual allies. And Ace Combat 6 broke this mold. I guess you could say that's true also for Ace Combat 5 with your partner, your wingman. And that was pretty good. But Ace Combat 6 sees actual battles large-scale battles where your allies actually fight. In fact, they made a point of that in the game by when you beat a mission, it will show you how many of the enemy were killed by your allies, by your NPC allies. I love that. I've always loved that. Why do they regress this in Ace Combat 7? It doesn't make any sense to me. This is a consistent problem with a lot of games. If you're going to have allies in a game, you need to make them at least Halo is the gold standard. Halo Marines. I know this is not involving ground combat by foot soldiers. That's fine. But allies in Halo, they don't carry the battles for you, but they actually meaningfully participate. They really do fight, and they really do contribute to victory. Although, like I said, they don't carry it for you. If you do nothing, you will ultimately lose. I remember as a kid playing Rogue Squadron on Nintendo 64, and it was amazing in a way. Of course, the soundtracks are good because it's Star Wars. The design, the sound design was good, at least if I recall correctly. The missions were really, really cool. And it didn't just use vehicles from the original trilogy. It used new vehicles too. It was basically an expanded universe game. All the missions were ground missions, which was very odd. Not ground as in on foot, foot soldiers. It was aircraft and vehicles, right? But it was still it was the missions were amazing because they were basically expanded universe missions. that are happening during the Galactic Civil War, during the trilogy. I was blown away by that. However, I did notice, even as a kid, that my allies were basically for show, and that really bothered me. I also did not like the extreme difficulty spikes, which are not. This is where it's like get good people need to shut up. Okay, a lot of the get good stuff is it's just based on bad game design. Okay, not enough time in development, not enough testing, etc. Extreme difficulty spikes are bad design. They're not like they're a bug, not a feature. But yeah, like I noticed how my allies were basically for show. There were some missions where I could kind of tell that my allies would kill enemies, but it was basically scheduled, right? So you're going down a path here, and you have your allies shooting at some stationary targets, and the stationary targets eventually get destroyed. But this is a scheduled thing. And then they make Rogue Squadron 2, okay? And Rogue Squadron 2, no EU missions, at least not from my memory. It's just original trilogy missions. Why would you do this? Why would you regress the game? So, like this. You should be innovating. Here's another kind of vague, somewhat similar example is Star Fox. Star Fox, I like Star Fox, right? We've got this new remake coming out. The third or fourth remake, because Star Fox 64 was literally a remake of Star Fox on the SNES, and then we got Star Fox, on the Wii, which is a remake of Star Fox 64, and now we're getting another remake. So yeah, I think it might be the fourth time by now that we're getting another remake. Star Fox Assault represented a real, meaningful progression in lore, in gameplay development. But again, even then, what do I see in Assault? Your allies are there for show. And this is just not how you should make a mass combat game. Like, if you're going to have an ace fighter type of game, you really should have, and there's these allegedly big battles, your allies need to be real allies. It is not immersive to have allies for show. Anyways, we'll go back to Ace Combat now. So yes, we have a back catalog of amazing games. Ace Combat X on the PS3, Skies of Deception, is underrated. Amazing games, amazing soundtrack. Sometimes the stories are good, Stories, I'm not saying stories aren't important. I think story is often more important than the gameplay, but it depends on the game. That is not the case for Ace Combat. People don't play Ace Combat for the story. They play Ace Combat for the gameplay because there's nothing like it. I mean, there is some things like it, but not much. You have Project Wingman, but that's only a few years old. It's a new game. It's a clone, really. So yeah, and when people have to use emulation, they have to abscond with files on the internet to play these older games. They have to run it through emulators. They have to do, whatever techniques they have to do to play them, because Bandai will not provide the old Ace Combat games, the greatest jet fighter games ever made. DCS is... I don't care about your simulation garbage, okay? Video games are meant to be fun. If you're telling me that this is not a real... Oh my god, it's not real. It's like, I don't care what your opinion is. You suck. Nobody... If video games were simulators, nobody would play them other than the most autistic weirdos. So yeah, Bandai, you need to give us the Ace Combat games on PC. All of them. You need to give these games to us, including Skies of Deception on the PSP. You need to port them to Steam. You need to put them on computers. You need to put them on other systems, and you need to give us an explanation as to why you haven't done this already. And don't tell me it's licensing. That's bogus. You don't need permission from a company to put airplanes in your video game. And please give us real allies and real massive battles. Don't give us this nonsense where you have allies that, take 15 minutes to kill an enemy. That's stupid. It's not immersive. It's bad. It's cheap design. It's cheap gameplay design. Like, you see, like, and this is just generally true. It's not just a problem with Ace Combat, where you have allies in games which clearly are, yeah, they seem to be fighting, but it's quite obvious that they are fighting in a way that is extremely inefficient. That's not fun. In my opinion, that's not fun. And developers need to fix this problem. Also, don't put woke shit in your game. That's all.